Just wanted to, say during this 5-game stretch, just can't say how much we appreciate the support from everybody. This is our 5th straight game, over 100,000 in attendance, and we feel it, and it means a lot to us. We certainly want to put on a good show for everybody, and then also all the people that make this work. To put on, a game. There's just so many people that have to do their parts, from ticketing to marketing to the operations to on the field to maintenance to facilities to the audio and video. There's just so many people, and certainly it all starts with our athletic director Gene Smith. But just want to say thank you for that. It's been a good 5-week run here. Now we go on the road next week, but really want to say thank you to everybody involved.
We'll open up questions. Front row right. Tim May. On 3.
Yeah, there we go. I got to ask Ryan. 49-10 win, but most people, the Twitter's a buzz about what happened between you and Greg Schiano there after Jesse Mirko took off on that punt. And
Sure.
Just what's your take on that, and what you guys say to each other?
I figured that'd be your first question.
Yeah. Well, I may not get another one.
Nah.
I was going to ask about Mike Williams.
No,
you asked that too. Yeah.
Yeah, they came after the punt, and Jesse rolled out to the right, and nothing we had ever worked on. He just saw it, took it. It was just a football player, and then took that shot on the sideline, and things got heated, and one coach defending their side, one coach defending theirs. No hard feelings at all. Told him that after the game, unbelievable amount of respect for him. So that's all that was.
Over to the left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, CJ's talked at length about you preaching to him, taking the easy stuff, not getting bored with the routine stuff. His interception today, is that why you preach that so much?
Well, clear. It was, you can see they had a really good game plan coming in. They were going to, huddle, wait in the huddle, snap it at 10 seconds, and try to use as much clock off the game clock as possible, and try to win the game with possession. And then on defense, you can see they were playing a lot of 2 high safeties really deep and forcing us to run the ball, which we ultimately had to do. And we came out and with a shot coming out in the first play of the second half, and we missed it, but there was a lot of really good throwaways that weren't there today by CJ, and he made some really good throws as well. So that's part of competing. That's part of it. Those are the types of games that sometimes we're going to have to play. And overall, I thought it was a job well done.
Over to the right, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Just update the situation with Trevion. Was that related to what kept him out of the Toledo game a couple weeks ago, or I guess knocked him out of that game? And
yeah, we certainly didn't expect that to happen going in, but then just struggled in warm-ups. So we were expecting him to play practice this week, and so he showed up and kind of did linger from last week, but we were kind of surprised he wasn't able to make it, and so we had to go with mine.
And I guess just the extension of that, seeing Mayan step up and be a bell cow, sort of, instead of just the role sharing he's been doing.
Yeah, 23 carries, or 21 carries, 191 yards, 5 touchdowns, and the big one for 70 yards. It says a lot about the way he was running, especially in the red zone. I think the red zone numbers right now are really good. It's a big part of it is the offensive line and where we're running the football. But I just think overall, the tight ends, the wide receivers, everybody's involved with this run game. But Lion was running hard today and finished a bunch of runs, did positive. He turned the 3-yard run into 5, keeps us on schedule, and it was tough down there in the red zone. They kind of dug in a few times. We had to go for it on the 4th down, but Lion had a really good day for us.
Over to the left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
And Ryan, Tommy and Steele both had big games today. Just how much better are those guys playing than they were a year ago? What are the biggest ways in which you've seen those guys improve?
Yeah, I think they're just playing faster. They're diagnosing plays faster. They understand how teams are trying to attack them. And I think I mentioned this before. I think it's twofold. One is a year under your belt of playing and figuring out how teams are attacking you and in-game adjustments and just seeing things over and over and over again. You think about some of the best linebackers that we've had here in the last few years. It's usually guys who have played and seen things. You can flash when you're athletic, but it's the diagnosing of plays and understand how teams are trying to really come after you. But then also, I think they feel comfortable in the scheme. I think they really have a good relationship with Jim Knowles, who they meet with every day. He's their position coach, and so he gives a really good perspective on how he fits into the run, but also in the pass game, and that's huge. And you can just see it. I mean, they're playing that way. You just kind of feel it when you're on the sideline. I'm sure that from your point of view, you see the same thing.
Over to the right, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, just a couple other personnel matters. Tim McAllister came out of the game. It's like, what's his status and as far as Cam Brown too?
Yeah, I don't really have much of an update right now on Tanner. We'll kind of evaluate him later today and tomorrow and kind of see where that's at. And then, Cam, we're trying to get back as soon as we can. Again, we kind of come in tomorrow and see where things are at and hopefully get a week of practice out of those guys. But again, we're gonna always, make sure that we're following the lead of the doctors and the medical staff on the whole thing. So the feedback from the players is critically important in all of this. So, at the end of the day, I'm kind of out of it. I got to trust the guys and they do a great job.
Second row left, Cameron Teague Robinson, the Athletic.
Ryan, it seemed like that defensive front, the linebackers and the defensive line really set the tone for you guys today, whether in the kind of slowing things up in the run game, getting out your sign a little bit. Just kind of how important were they, how important were they today, and kind of set the tone for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's anytime you're trying to stop the run and play great defense, you have to win the line of scrimmage, and that's a big part of it. You can see that they were disruptive just watching the play. You can see the line of scrimmage was getting moved back a bunch. But they did some good things too. But overall, I thought our guys had a good feel for it and a good edge, and so now we got to keep building on it, go on the road next week. And but I think you're starting to see a rhythm with those guys up there in terms of rotation and the way that they're playing. It's starting to become a body of work, which is important.
Over to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, did you say anything to Jesse afterward? Like, what the score was it? Or was that just something he just did on his own?
Yeah, I just grabbed him. I said, what happened? And he said, I rolled out to the right. And he goes, nobody was on me. I said, okay. Anybody tell you that? He says, no. I said, okay, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
And just in general, I was a comfortable win, but did it feel clunky at times to you?
I think it has to do with the way that, the way that they kind of went into the game, playing a lot of too high coverage, saying, all right, you're either going to run for 5, and we're good with that, or you're going to have to take the throws underneath. And then on offense, running it, huddling, running 30 seconds off the clock every play and snapping inside of 10 seconds. So, what happens with that is on offense, we ended up with 59 total plays. They ended up with 56. Just not a lot of football there. And even at the end, in that fourth quarter, we're just kind of running out the clock and moving on. But, still, 49-10, still a heck of a day. But in those type of games, you have to be proud of the win. And it's hard to get style points when you're playing in that style of the game. I think the one thing about our team is they're good with that. You talk to the guys on defense, they love it. The guys on offense, it's not always the best, but they understand that winning is the most important thing. If you start to get selfish or undisciplined, you can put yourself at risk in a hurry. And our guys know that it's important to make sure that we win, and we have to win different ways.
Over to the left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, you just kind of said it, your offense, or at least your passing game's clunky, but you still score 49 points despite them playing you the right way. How do you stop you if you were on the other side? Is this the way to do it, or?
It just depends. It depends on your personnel. It depends on what it is, and then we try to identify what's being done, and then we attack them in that area. If it's a too high structure, then we're gonna run the ball and control the clock, and that's okay. We're good with that. You can sit there and drop 8 every snap and say you're not going to throw the ball, or you can put a bunch of guys in the box and say you're not going to run the ball. That's why the balance is so important when you're playing, and that's a great example of that right here.
And real quick, and without pressing the issue, is it your understanding, without getting into detail too much, Greg thought that it was a call fake punt? Was that part of what brought him over?
Oh, I don't know. I think he was just coming over to defend his player, just because he was kind of over there on our sideline, and it was a late hit and a lot of emotion. I think he was just trying to get his player out of there, and things like that happen in football, and he was just a defend his player.
Over to the right, Clay Hall, WSYX.
When you see a guy go 52 yards up in your grill like that, though, and the both of you are squaring off, I mean, when's the last time the juices flowed like
Clay, I'm
that?
not going to bite on that, so I'm sorry.
Well, it's a hell of a nice confrontation, though.
Next question.
Over here to the right, Bill Landis, Riles.
Ryan, Zach Harrison had the forced fumble, and he took the ball 2 on the interception that Steele had. Just wondering what you thought of this play today, and maybe if you've seen him kind of building momentum to a game like this.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's playing well. I think he has built momentum. watch the film and see how it was, but that was a huge play. Tips and overthrows were huge, and that was a tip that turned into an interception. So, I think he's playing at a high level. We got to watch the film and see, but I think he's been growing and building, and there's a chance he's playing his best football right now.
Got time for just a few more folks. Over to the left, Spencer Holbrook, Doug Monroe.
Ryan, are you going to have to start getting used to winning the games by running the football and playing good defense? Seems like that wasn't really your calling card last year. Now, I think by my count, it's your third time doing that this year. Is that just a change for you? And how good does it feel to be able to win like that?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, anytime you win games, it feels great, and it isn't about all the other stuff. You win, you move on, right? And that's what it comes down to. That's the way we look at it. And you can try to, put a square peg in a round hole or vice versa, but, if a team says they're going to take away this, then you have to do something else, and that's just the way the game goes. And there's been times where we played against teams that just say they're going to stop the run, and so we've thrown it, and you guys have seen that, and we have the ability to do that. And you can see today, their game plan. But that's when you talk about unselfishness, and certainly starts with the quarterback and understanding how to win the game, and that's what makes great quarterbacks. I mean, I think you look at the NFL, and I heard a great quarterback the other day say, "What's your favorite play in the red zone?" He said, "Run the ball." I mean, that's understanding what it takes to play winning football, and he understands that, and I think our whole team understands that.
And final question for Coach over here to the right, Austin Ward, Rivals 97.1 The Fan.
Ryan, tell me if I'm taking this idea too far, but between last week with Jair's penalty, defending after the Mirko thing today, spending all season talking about competitive stamina and toughness, does that apply to the coaching staff as well? And are you coaching with a different edge, do you think, than years past for your players?
I don't know. I know that this team is hungry. I know that we're playing with an edge. I think people feel that, and I wouldn't look too much into it. But at the same time, you have to bring it every single week, and that's everybody across the board for sure.